Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to today's Decision365 webinar. Decision365 is a commerce productivity tool that leverages the application most manufacturers already use, Microsoft Outlook. Decision365 allows users to manage orders directly in Outlook with automatic integration to your ERP systems. Decision365 connects to more than a dozen EDI and e-commerce systems, including DRI's partner, SPS Commerce. With Decision365, you can review and edit orders coming from external systems before they enter your ERP systems, thus decreasing time spent managing exceptions, increasing data accuracy, and improving productivity. Now I am pleased to introduce our presenter. David Willett is the product manager here at DRI. David has over 30 years of experience working with Sightline and CloudSuite Industrial as a user consultant and product manager. David also has 15 years of experience working with EDI automation and continues to expand on that as DRI's product manager, developing new productivity tools to benefit our customers. David, without further ado, take it away.
Thank you, Emily. For context, we have a short PowerPoint, and then we'll actually start showing some demos. But as you can see here, Decision365 is a commerce hub, and we take orders in from a variety of different places. So our primary partner for EDI is SPS Commerce. They do the translation for EDI documents that come in from different places like Walmart, Amazon. They have over 3,500 different trading relationships already set up. We also have other companies where we can take orders in. On the left, you can see below Connexium. Connexium takes PDFs that are attached to emails, turns those into plain text, and we can take those in. Shopify is a web store. We can take orders in from a web store. We have several different web stores, Volusion, Magento, Shopify, that we can take orders in. These all come into the same hub and then go into CloudSuite or Sightline. So the nice thing is when we add a new commerce channel, we're only really dealing with what's on the left. The value add, that right arrow that goes into CloudSuite, is reusable, and we can quickly bring up other interfaces as well. So what is Decision365? Well, it's the latest product. We've done some 50 plus Infor integrations of EDI and other commerce being websites, Salesforce, that kind of thing. It's an inbound, as we've already mentioned, Sightline CloudSuite inbound commerce console. So in doing that, you can look at data and clean data up and things before it actually gets into your ERP system. And then, as Emily mentioned, it's in the interface you already know. We use and expand on Outlook, and we use Office 365. It's a shared inbox, but everything we're doing is in the cloud. So we're managing this from the cloud and we're running. So, and then the point being, it is cloud-based. So nothing's installed on your system. The philosophy behind this, of course, we found more and more customers who didn't want us to spend the time teaching them how to run our tools and our interfaces. And they're very happy for us to take care of the whole interface technical IT thing for them so that they can focus on making their product. And then it's a productivity tool. People still run the processes. This just does it faster. So comparing this to something like workflow, which I've done a lot of workflow things in the past. Workflow, you have to set up the entire process and you define the process, and the theory is it runs in the background and it runs automatically. The challenge with commerce is every trading partner tends to do things a little bit differently. Inevitably, we still have a person involved in the process making a decision of what we're going to do about that part that's not priced right, or what we're going to do about that unit of measure that's off. Those are the kinds of things that a person needs to get involved in. So what we've done is ways to make it faster. The other thing is we're putting value in the interface. So many interfaces out there that take data from one system to another just move the data across. So the order comes in with the wrong price from one system, it goes into your Sightline or CloudSuite system with the wrong price, and people have to deal with it. We're putting that value add in the interface itself. So a couple different ways we do that, or a few different ways we do that. One is we highlight exceptions, and those show up in red, and those do not go into Cloud Suite at all. It stops the write. Examples would be you don't have the customer set up, you don't have the ship to set up, you don't have the item in your item master, or there's no unit of measure. We have some things that I'm going to show you later that even if these aren't there, we can automatically create them for you. But by default, you just can't put the order in without a customer. So I think we all understand that. Then we highlight anomalies. And these are visual cues, things that are off price, things that are off terms, things that are unit of measure conversions, things that possibly aren't going to really be the way you want the order to go in, but you want to know about it ahead of time. And in that way, you can address it either once it's in the system, or you can even address it before it goes in, but we're going to highlight those things for you. Then we also prep data or prepare data. We have some different features that we've added based upon customer requests. Choose the warehouse based upon the warehouse that has the most quantity. Put the order in as part of the order multiple that we have set up on the order multiple item master. So we can change the data before it goes in to a customer order and get it right the way you like. And we can do that from parameters from within Decision365. It also provides rapid search and links. You'll see this in the demo today where we can find parts by their part number, or by the customer, or by the city, or by the PO number. Find that, and then if you're running the Cloud Suite systems, we can link to that. And then I mentioned, finally, fix it. You can change data that's in the interface, or you can use our Fix It tool that helps fix things for you as well. So I'm going to show you a picture right now. This is a customer that we have, American Packaging and Gasket, who lets us show some of their data. We do have, I think we have them on the line, and he'll be answering or talking about this a little bit later.
Hey, David, I'm here.
Oh, you're there, Metin. Okay, good. So this is one of the things Metin came up with. They requested. Metin, you want to talk about this right now? What the pricing?
Yeah, so if you see that little, I guess it's italic, but the different font you see there, not just the red, that's one where the price was off. And as you can see, it's off by 36%. So that was some crucial information for APG. We found out that some of our customers were getting the best of us using the old pricing, and they haven't updated their system with our new pricing. So we were able to find savings right on the fly there. And, it just brought a lot of information to our eyes, stuff we didn't know before. And another big favorite is the exception where the items do not go. I mean, this is great for us because we are seeing exactly what new items our customer, in this case USA Seal, is adding to their list that they haven't told us about. So it's an easy way for us to just import these new items on the fly. I mean, we've saved so much time, it's unbelievable.
So I'll and we're going to show a little bit of their live system as I go in, but you'll see this column here. This column is the price difference in percent, and these lines below, this one's off by 3%, 3.4%. But because we have a tolerance that says we only show things that are 4% or more off, it doesn't get the fancy font. So, and then this column is the dollar, the delta. So basically they would be losing $10 on that line item if they didn't do something about it. And Ben's already here, but this was a quote that I like to show off. And this was something that happened just running the software. So they found areas where their customers were taking advantage of things. Okay, here's a fix it modifier. I talked about this a little bit. So one of the things that we found in doing EDI is the EDI order would come in and it would have a price and it would have a part number and it would have a cross-reference, but this stuff wasn't in Cloud Suite. And the old way of doing things, well, the real old way of doing things was it would be an error, somebody would have to figure it out. Then the older way of doing things was, well, it would write to a log file and somebody would have to figure it out. And most modern systems send an email to somebody and tells them to figure it out. So if you look over at the right, it'll tell you it's a exception. It'll tell you, what's going on, but basically you have to go to the system and you have to key it in. So down below, you can see an order went in and it's complete. It found the part number, description, and everything in Cloud Suite. But here we have an order that's not going in because it couldn't find the cross-reference. And by saying fix it, we're telling the system to use a productivity feature that will add it for you. So it'll go right into Cloud Suite and it'll add that cross-reference using the information that came in from whatever our commerce source was, and it creates cross-reference for you and it goes and completes the order. And so that's automatic, but that's the idea of being productive. So a person still initiates it. And then we, of course, tag the item that was added. We had customers, we had parts, we had units of measures, really everything to get the order in. So what used to take a long time to get the data set up, we can automatically set up data very quickly. I mean, it may not be the way you want it, but it's exactly where you can go in and tag it and then improve it. Some of the other things, this is another example similar to the pricing that Metin was talking about, unit of measure conversions. So like the pricing one, customer will often send, they may say, we want one each. Walmart may say they want each. Well, what they really mean is they want a case of each or one case. So there's unit of measure conversion things. Or they may say, okay, we want 7 things, but you stock them and sell them as cases. So we can see here that we have a case that's a 4-pack and it's going to turn into 1.75 cases. And as soon as this comes in for 7 each, we're told we have to ship 1.75 cases, which might make somebody a little bit irritated. But again, this is being highlighted here, a productivity tool, and then you can go in and use these links and fix it. So I want to jump in and show you a little bit of the demo now. So the first place I'll start out is this is APG's actual site here. So what we can see, there's 9,156 order lines, and some are old and processed, so they get more orders than this, but they can come in and they can see May 8th. These were the orders that came in May 8th. This came from their customer US Sealing. This is the purchase order number 15830, and you can see the fonts that we had talked about. So these orders just came in this morning and have different fonts in them. Here's an exception. If I click on that, we're going to see what the exception was. And I believe, Ben, you still there? Okay.
Yep,
okay.
still here.
Oh,
still
okay.
here.
Yeah, so I think what your folks do is they look at all the exceptions and then they go and add them and reprocess them. Is that correct?
Yes, that is correct.
Okay. So they can do a view and look at just exceptions only.
This is our staff's favorite view, by the way.
Okay, okay, great. So the other thing you could do with this is if you had, for example, another product like Excel, you could say, hey, I just want to copy that order right into Excel, and you're going to have all your exceptions and things there. So the integration with the Office product is pretty nice because you can just kind of drag and drop things. So if I go back to this view, and let me just look at all these orders, I can type in things that I'm looking for. Let's say I'm looking for, I already had done this search earlier, but just that particular PO. It'll find that PO down here. Or I just want to say, oh, let me just look at data that is for Chicago. And it'll find all the orders that are shipping to Chicago. So everybody here has done searches before and things in Outlook, but this is an area we can, it can be very fast, and if you're running a local cache on your system, you have Outlook that way, it's very rapid for getting into things, okay? So that's APG. I'm gonna go in my demo environment here, I'm gonna go into in a minute. We have settings, and we set these up normally for our customers, but we have different settings based upon who the trading partner and customer is. So we have, we're going to validate the terms, we're going to validate the price, we're not going to auto post it, we're not going to be looking at the quantity, is not, you know, we have features to turn off what's available or things like that. So, but these are set up, and then I'm going to go into the Decision365 workbench. So, which is empty right now. So this is the demo one we're going to run. So first thing I need to do, make sure my Cloud Suite session doesn't time out. I'm going to show you where we are in Cloud Suite, and then I'm going to go in and show you some of the different ways that we can get data in. So right here, I have, for Walmart, I have really 3 part numbers. The 310, lines 2, 3, and 4 are the same part number, and they have different units of measures and different customer prices that these may come in on. So there's really only 3 Cloud Suite part numbers. And then of course the E67. So we're gonna get an order for more items, and we're gonna see that it won't go in the system. We also have EDI customer orders that I have in the system right now. I'm looking by date. I don't have any here. And I'm not going to take you into the EDI customer profile area. It's probably more detailed than we need. It's up if we need to see where the parameters are a little bit later in Cloud Suite. But Decision365 has many more parameters and many more features for processing and cleaning up data. So our data sources are going to be, I'm going to take an order in from Shopify. So we have 4 line items in there, and this order should go directly into Cloud Suite. I have some orders that came from SPS. So this, just to show you what SPS does, SPS will take us cross-references from, it translates X.12 EDI to standard XML format. You would never need to see this. Some people like to look at it, but here's what the order looks like. It has different dates. Amazon may give us a window. Walmart may give us a window and a cancel date. Somebody else may give us a delivery date, the date that they want to receive it. Somebody else may give us a ship date. So there's lots of different dates. The order will have notes and allowances on it. And then when it comes to part numbers, this is a typical thing too. They'll provide us with a buyer part number. They may provide us with what they think our part number is, and they may be right and they may be wrong. They may give us a consumer package code, which I'm going to go and show you a little bit more things we can do on that. And then they give us other numbers. So we extract this information and put it into a nice visible way to look at it in Decision365. Here we have an invoice from Connexium, and this is in CXML. This is an accounts payable invoice. So this is an AP invoice coming in. It's on the other side of Cloud Suite where you would be generating a voucher and normally a check. Here we have an 830, an 830 being a forecast. This is going to be kind of neat because it's going to generate customer orders for forecasts that are firm, and it's going to generate forecasts in the Cloud Suite forecasting system for planned orders. So it's going to split into multiple parts. So I'm looking at this through OneDrive. We're in the process of moving this just strictly to SharePoint, but as a customer, you would be able to see these in this area, and then when they go to Success, you'd be able to look at them. We have services that as soon as I turn this on, I should start populating the Decision365 folder. So if I just, I don't know how this is going to work. Let's see if it works this way. So I'm going to go ahead and turn this on. And this should go out, and there it did. So it went and got all our data from the variety of sources. It is very fast. Actually, over the cloud, we can read and write to Exchange as fast as anything that we have seen. We can create these orders just in big groups. So one of the things that's going on is it's processing. You can see the colors change here. And there's a couple different things going on here that I want to discuss, but why don't I just look at how these are going with exceptions and rollback and things like that. So I mentioned a little bit earlier that I have settings by trading partner. And in this particular trading partner, we set it up so that whatever's good goes in as good, and whatever's bad doesn't go in at all. So you can look at this particular order and you can see that there's 7 lines here, and there's a problem with this line. 90% of the time, the problem with the line is we can't find something. We can't find the unit of measure. And there's a problem with this line. But this line, I can just go ahead and link, and oops, I I had it off my screen, sorry, but it takes me directly to the order. Okay, so if I bring back my Cloud Suite order, hold on, let me bring my window back on here. And it'll link in. So the other order we want to look at some others here as well. This particular order, we have a similar issue, couldn't find the part, but then this one is rolled back. And the reason it's rolled back is we have a parameter that's set up that says, hey, we take only complete orders. So we call this a transactional order. So this order is not in Cloud Suite at all. The only place it exists is in Decision365. It goes through and it finds every single problem with the order, not just line 2, and then you fix line 2, and then it says, okay, line 4 is a problem. It goes through the entire order, tries to process it. When it can't process it, it tags every single line where there's a problem, and then it rolls back the entire order. So what I wanted to show you is there's 2 ways to run it. If you have very big orders like APG does, they get hundreds of line orders, that couple hundred line orders. They don't want the whole order roll right back. They want to put the good lines in, and then they want to come back and fix those. So now I'm going to go look at this one. I'm going to say, well, I want to take that. Well, first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go look here. I'm going to say, well, let's look up the UPC. Now, because there is a UPC code in the EDI data, Decision365 knew that. So it just created a UPC lookup for you. And we linked out to a site that gives us competitive information that could help an employee figure out what it is, whether they're talking about 88 cents or $41. Obviously, one's a case quantity, one's an each quantity. They can see competitive type pricing. This is kind of like the gas buddies for UPC codes, but they can get that information in a web browser. So to come back in here, they can try to figure that information out. All the information that was in the order is in the actual message. But now I'm going to just run this feature called Fix It. And I'm going to talk about this a little bit here. First of all, these processes, these options and things, they can be on control keys. So you don't have to go through this sequence. You can just highlight that and hit Control F2 to process it. But I could come in here and say, well, what's the problem? I need to add a customer contract. Well, I'm just going to say fix it instead. So I'm marking those 4 orders to fix it. And then nothing runs through Decision365 unless you say process, because you may be in the process of working on one line and you don't want it to take off and do the other. There's some other black ones here. The black color is a modifier. It means process it with this modifier. So no tran means I'm not going to run a transaction. Let's just take the good order lines and forget this whole rollback idea. Okay, don't validate the terms this time. Don't validate the prices. Both our pricing, well, especially our pricing validation, it's got a tolerance on it that says whether it wants us to not write the order or just highlight it. Terms validation, when it's on, it keeps you from writing the wrong terms into the order. So a lot of different things we can turn on or off. So I'm going to just set this up to process. And it should be picked up momentarily. And where we should see it is we should see it in this area right here. So if I go into my Cloud Suite system and I look at my customer contract where I have only 6 items, it just added that item. And it just added that item. So those were added through the Fix It feature. If I look at my customer orders, I will probably have several in here now. My EDI customer orders, I do, because these came in. So I could get to them this way. This is my web store order that came in. It just came right in from the web store, shipped to me from Shopify. I could also go to Decision365 and get to that order directly, linking, so I could find it that way too. So however you want to get there, the idea being, use it the way you do now, but it's processing automatically. and you can link to it. We have the links and things in there as well. So let's go look a little bit more at some other things that we had in Decision365. So down, what I have here, you probably wouldn't normally have this, but I have type. So what's the type for? Type is telling me the type of document it is. These are AP invoices. And right now, this is matched up to the purchase order, and I can see the purchase order in Cloud Suite because I have an AP invoice coming in. Before I create a voucher, I want it to match. Complete means it matched. I'm going to go around and I'm going to also tell this one to create a voucher. And then I'm going to tell it to go ahead and process. And then I can see down here, I have some other demand that came in, but these are forecasts. So what this did was this went in, and this was solid demand that came in off of an 830. So it went and created some orders, and those are the order lines that are in there. There's no need to, link again. I think you've seen we can link already. But then I have some forecasts that were created, and what it did is it went into Cloud Suite, and it created my my forecast. So there's all the forecasts that came in. It created different forecasts for that mirror bracket with the dates and quantities. So it's building the forecast for us as well. So we have demand, we have invoices. So let's go back and see what's going on with this invoice. And let's look at the AP voucher. So it created the AP voucher for us. So the concept again, as I discussed earlier, is Decision365 is a commerce console. It's parameter driven. Things can be changed on how it behaves. It's all managed in the cloud. This is all Office 365. We can also change views. So for example, if I showed you on APG system how we could just look at errors. I may just want to look at the AP invoices. So now I'm just looking at the AP invoices in the system. But very flexible in the interface, you already know. So Emily, that went a little quicker than I thought, but unless I just spend time re-showing people what I already showed them, I think that's probably a pretty good view here. So we can open it up to questions next.
Thanks. Great, David. Thank you for showing that demo. A lot of great info there. As a reminder to all of our attendees, we will open the floor to questions right now. If you have a question, you can use the question area in the webinar toolbar to submit a question. David, we do have about 5 questions right now. The first question comes from Diane, who asks, can you work with EDI providers other than SPS Commerce?
Yeah, and we do now. We've done some things with True Commerce. We worked with B2B Gateway. The answer is yes. We work mainly with SPS because they have a great relationship with lots of trading partners, but it's up to you to determine who you want to be the translator. What we do not want to do because of the overhead in communicating with the trading partners directly, we don't want to be directly translating EDI documents. We don't, if I call up Walmart and try to talk to the EDI department, it's pretty difficult. If SPS does it, they have contacts and things like that. But if you have another translator and you have a constant file format or a constant format, we'd be happy to talk to you about it and then bring them all into Decision365.
Great. The next question comes from Jared, who asks, do all orders have to go into the EDI section of CSI?
No, they don't. As a matter of fact, if I'm still sharing my screen,
Yep, you are.
APG, these go directly to customer orders. So we can go directly to EDI or to customer orders. I'm going to spend a little bit more time answering that question, but we can go to both. We can also auto post, so they'll go into EDI and be auto posted to customer orders. If you are doing real EDI where you actually have to have return documents like the 856, which is the advanced ship notice, or you need to do the acknowledgement or the invoice, there are features in Cloud Suite that create separate tables that make it extremely useful for putting them into the EDI area, but it's not a requirement at all if you don't have that kind of return document. So commerce orders could go directly into like web orders like Shopify. They could go directly into customer orders without a problem. I just send things into EDI orders just so I'm not bringing up too many extra screens for a demo. But no, you don't have to do that at all.
Great.
Next one.
Next question is from Caitlin, who asks, what if we don't use Outlook for our email?
Well, you could just use Decision365 as an Outlook app. So we provide the license for you. We license the shared inbox that we use, and we can provide an Office 365 inbox here so that you could have your Gmail could be in another area here, or could be in whatever you use, but you someplace to get these column headers, we would like you to have Outlook, and we can provide that for you. The alternative is you could use, do I have it up? Yeah, you could use the web version. You're not going to get all the column headers, but you do get some information in there. So you can see, you know, I still have the linking capabilities and everything else. I just don't have the columns. So if you wanted to go through and just look at things or exceptions, I could click on that. You know, I could click just on my complete ones. I mean, you have some can't say it. You have some flexibility using the Outlook web client, but in general, you know, our future is around capabilities in Outlook, and we are also extending these. So we have the ability to do forms on here where you can change data, forms where you can, you know, do approvals. So we just hit the tip of the iceberg with things that we can do in this environment. So that's the long and short way of saying we're fine if you don't use Outlook today, but if you refuse to put Outlook on board, we would like to convince you otherwise, I guess.
Okay.
Long answer.
We have two questions from Chris H. The first question is this only for cloud installs?
No, we have some people who run on-premise, but since we do run from the cloud, we communicate through the API layer of Cloud Suite and Sightline. And that API layer, the good news is we always come to the business layer. It's an automation user, so it doesn't consume your transact tokens, your users, but we're subject to the business layer, and we do the same kinds of things that you would do through a form. So we're not hitting your SQL database at all. We stay out of there. Personally, I think that's dangerous to hit the SQL database, but we do need to access your API. So we typically have customers put up a HTTPS and certificate that we come in on. We are not opposed to putting it on site and installing it on premise, but that kind of defeats the point of us managing it. So right now we can manage all our customers on one server or multiple servers in the cloud. And once it's on customer sites, one of the things we were trying to get away from was the multiple logins of VPNs. So again, just to show you here, I happen to have this is a pilot server set up, but every SFT number here, these are all different customers that are running, and it's just so organized to be able to. And this is the one I was demoing from, so this is a demo, but everyone's set up with a data, a live, and a pilot folder. They're all mirrored. So obviously we're much more efficient in handling it ourselves. Long answer again, but no, it's not a requirement if you're on premise. So talk to us is the answer.
Yeah, and we had a very similar question from Chris F, but who was asking how if the solution is in the cloud, it interacts with on-prem CSI, but I think we covered that for you, Chris F. And if you have any additional questions, we can obviously touch base with you offline. And then we have one more question, David, from Chris H. Lots of Chris's today. And Chris H's question is, does this work with other inbound data files, say from Concur?
Yeah, actually Concur's one. So if you're thinking of like expense reports or things like that, approving, we have looked at Concur. We haven't done anything yet. We would love to talk to you later. So out of the box, no, but we know that Concur has a file format that we can import. We don't think that would be too tough to put in. So again, let's follow up afterwards, but no, we haven't done Concur yet.
Okay, sounds good. And Chris H., we can connect with you following the webinar. We do have your email, so David or someone will be following up with you maybe tomorrow or next week. So that are all our questions today, David. Thank you so much for the presentation, and thank you to Metin, our customer, for participating today. Thank you, everyone, and have a great afternoon.